Jane, yeah, first. Uh, but give me just a second. I'm trying to get everything set up here. Let's see. Oh, let's see. Jane came to, yeah, I got it right here. Let's see. Jane says, and number one won't be that way for long. How was your day, Pops? Well, started off a little slow, and like I said, now after the morning got by, I was kind of worried this morning, but after the morning got by, things kind of settled down, and I feel a lot better now than I did this morning. I can tell you that. So the day's good. Good. Hope yours has been. And I'm a little late. I had a customer, and they ordered a set of tires, so they went back and got the wheels. I had to unload the wheels for them. So anyway, that was always, I hate being late, but that's a good reason. Gary says, hello, NDP. Hello, Gary. Olivia said, Pops. Hello, Olivia. See, Jane said, not dizzy. Nope, I was this morning. I probably shouldn't have been driving, but Joe Bird said, hey, Pops. Hello, Joe. Jane said, Gary, live. Olivia said, buddy. Jane said, hi, Joe. Gary said, Jane. Daryl said, hello. Olivia said, you calling me, buddy? I didn't, did I? Did I? Oh, that was you. I'm sorry. My bad. I did. I was trying to get all this going. I did. I most certainly did, Olivia. I'm sorry. Uh, Jane said, hey, Daryl. Emperor says, hi, hello. Joe Bird said, hey, Jane. Daryl said, Jane. Olivia says, hey, Mama Bear. Joe Bird said, I'm going to have fun tomorrow. What was it you were going to do tomorrow? I remember you telling us. Remind us, please. Lucas says, God loves you. He loves you too. Olivia's laughing at me. Yeah, I messed up. I'm sorry. I had a bunch on my mind. Sorry, Olivia. Jane says, hi, Lucas. Daryl says, I'm going to be rolling cigarettes, but I'll be watching. Sounds good, man. Gary says, hello, buddy Olivia. I'll have that one for a while. Joe Bird says, I'm going to Oho tomorrow. All right. You be safe, that's for sure. Bro Bud said, is this great value Joe Rogan? Close enough. Stick around, we'll see. Joe Bird said, for Thanksgiving. All right, yes. Renna too much. Hello. I know I'm not, there's something just don't look right on that. What am I trying to? Ren. Is that Ren? Is that right? Hello, Ren. I hope I said that right. Now I lost. Admiral says, today is my birthday. Happy birthday. Jane says, hey, Rena. Snow says, I might see you sometime in Ohio. You never know about me. I'll be able to be there at some point. Leva says, Gary, I'm a psycho. Be careful. And Jane says, happy birthday, Andrea. See, Joe Bird says, bro, please don't say that name. What name? What did I say wrong? Matt said, good afternoon. Lotus said, hello. Ren says, hi, Jane. Olivia says, I'm only playing. Jane said, hi, Snow. Nobody said, I don't know what nobody's trying to say. See if I can see if it translates things. Just makes it foods are wet. Okay? Nobody said foods are wet. All right. Jane says, hi, Matt. Lotus said, what's up, Olivia? Matt says, how are you doing today? I'm doing good. Hope you are. Ren said, yes, it's Ren. Okay. Joe Bird said, really, Snow? Oh. Jane said, hi, Lotus. Lotus said, what's up, Daryl? Olivia said, the only person I poke is Lotus. Lotus said, hey, Jane. Joe Bird says, not you, bro, bud. Keob says, hello, Keob. Lotus said, how's Randy today? Doing good. He's moving around a lot better. Mason says, would you rather gain more? Nah, we ain't doing that. Jane says, hi, KOB. Matt says, I am only at 100. I am only at 169 subs. I'm sorry. I'm hoping people keep on. I'm getting behind. Have a nice day. Says, I know you don't remember me, but I gave you advice in 2009 that changed my life forever. Good, cool. Leader said, Lotus, KOB. Ren says, were you in the military? No, I wasn't. That picture was there when we bought the building. Lotus says, back in 20. Slim said, Milwaukee makes the best impact drivers ever. I agree with you. Ren said, where? I was not. I'm sorry. Mike said, hello, everyone. Snow says, are you a train driver? I work on the tracks. My son drives the train or conductor. He goes back and forth. I'm a track inspector, and I make sure the track's safe for the train. Jane said, hi, Slim. Matt says, can you make me a mod, please? Not right now. KOB says, hello, Princess. Joe Bird says, because that name scares the crap out of me. Mike says, hey, Gary. Jane says, Mike. Nobody says, can I take a question? I guess, as long as it's appropriate. Saul says, this is United States of Israel? Okay. One Life says, you like vegetables now? No. Slim says, hello, Jane. Gary says, hello, Mike. KOB says, here are you today, Orange. Hope. How are you today, Orange? Hope you're well, mate. I'm doing great. I'm doing a lot better than I've been the last couple of days. I hope tonight goes good tomorrow, and I hope I'm over whatever it is. I've not been dizzy the last half of the day, so that's good. Nobody says, what's the subject of the live? We really don't have one. We talk it. We go with the flow, whatever people wants to talk about. Mike says, hey, Jane Olivia. Speed says, somebody come get their uncle. Kitty said, hey. Roscoe says, hey, bro. Jane said, hey, Roscoe. Jane says, hey, Kitty. Roscoe said, God bless. Right back at you, Roscoe. God bless you, too. Mike said, Daryl, how are you? Daryl's rolling cigarettes, so he's probably just listening. Jane said, hi, Roscoe. Kitty says, hey, Jane. Dee Dee says, holy unk. Olivia says, why you got to fly out to see, why you going to fly out to sea? Gary says, hello, Kitty. Daryl says, Mike, I'm in. Kitty says, hey, Gary. Kitty says, Mike. Mike says, Joe. Jane says, hit the like button. Yes, please. It really makes me feel good. QB says, as soon as I can call out of work. Joe Bird said, because there was a guy I knew, and his name was Joe Rogan, and he was a scammer, and he tried to scam people. I don't like that. Aaron said, hi. Ghostly said, Kitty. Jane said, QB says, what do you do for work? Joe Bird said, hey, Kitty, long. Adrian, 404, how's that? Jane, help me out. How you say that name? Said, hi, bro. Jane says, hi, Aaron. Daryl said, Katrina. Aaron said, Jane. Kitty said, Olivia. Daryl said, Lotus. Rude says, I sub. Thank you very much. I always go through the people that show up that they sub, I sub back. I like to keep it. Must have been somebody turning around. Sorry. Kitty said, Joe Bird, hi. John says, sup, Nick Nurse? You about got me. Let's see. Libby says I meant when. I don't know when. 404. So where is Tom? I don't know. Aaron said vegetable soup tonight. Man, that sounds good. Ben says happy hump day. Is that you? Well, we ain't on hump day yet. Midnight says I knew your daddy. We went. Okay. Jenny says, yeah, I'm Aaron. Joe Bird says, how are you doing, Kitty? Real member says, mac and cheese for dinner. Thanks. Cool. JTM said, even in fair. Carlos up. Y'all, Pops. Hello, Carlo. Y'all be nice. If you don't want to be, if you're going to troll, go somewhere else. We're trying to have a happy little live here now. Kitty said, Joe Bird, I'm doing okay, but tired. Keo B says, I'm security detail for malls and museums. James says, it's Ray. Aaron says, peanut or grilled cheese with soup. I'll take grilled cheese. Jason said, what's up? Keo B says, that sounds weird for me to say it like that. I'm actually on my night shift at the moment. Joe Bird says, okay, Kitty. Kitty said, Joe Bird, how are you? Let's see what we got here. That's not your real name, but if you'll donate, I'll say your real name if you tell me your real name. Livy says, oh, boring shift. Ben says, pronounce. Jane said, grilled cheese with soup. Yes. Joe Bird said, good, Kitty. Ryan, Ray. Oh man, I'll have to figure out something else, Jane. Maybe Google will call me in a minute. Carlos says, hi, beautiful Olivia. Kitty says, Jay Bird. Grind says, my two daughters have subscribed to you. They might pop in every once in a while. Cool. Thank y'all. Joe Bird says, hey, big boys. Jane says, hi, Carlo. Olivia says, hope it stays quiet. Don't push yourself to do things. Gilby says, love, cheers, love. Carlos said, hello, Jane. Jesus says, hey, I made it. All right. I'm glad, Jesus. Jane said, hi, Jordan. Carlos said, Joe Bird, sup? Jesus said, hi, Jane. Grin said, what's your trade? My son and I both work for the railroad. I work as a track inspector on the railroad, and he drives the train or conducts it. His job goes either way. Daryl says, Jordan. Olivia says, hello, my friend. How are you feeling today? Jesus says, hey, Daryl. Kitty said, Carlo, hi. Kitty says, hey, Jesus. Olivia says, Jesus, hi. Joe Bird says, I'm going to have fun in February. All right. Let's see. Grind says, so all those trucks in the videos are yours. I thought you were a mechanic or something. Nope. Everything in the videos is ours. We do this on our own. We do sell tires and stuff like that, but this is all. We're not a mechanic. Everything's ours. We work on all of our stuff. Jesus says, hey, Kitty and Ghostly. Daryl says, I'm ready for bed. Don't it? I guess it was another turnaround. Let's see. Maverick says, for being at the job, you sure do sit around a lot. I'm not. This is my retirement here, Maverick. But I do sit around a lot. I sit in the truck and drive up and down the track. But this is my retirement right here. QB says, if you have any more questions, feel free to ask Miss Jane. Carlos says, not very well, Olivia. I had my Deeport injection yesterday. I feel like crap. Maverick says, okay, don't let the boss see you. Well, he's not here, and he is my son, so hey, he's probably watching. He knows what I do. James, and I'll pull the rank on him if I have to. James says, Grind, he just has lots of toys. Grind said, nice. Maverick says, I'll snitch. I don't care. Carlos says, hello, kitty, sweetheart. Joe Bird said, because I'm going to try to get my 1968 Chevy Malibu wagon. Oh, that'd be awesome. Grind said, you have some beautiful beauties. I love the Chevy. Thank you. Gary says, me too, Mike. Been up since 3 a.m. Austin says, Jesus loves you. He loves you too. Kitty says, how are you, Carlo? Jane says, Grind, most of us love Chevys. Maria, hello, simple creature. Why, Maria, I didn't think you was going to make it in here. Welcome. Glad to have you. Max or Daryl says, didn't sleep well and been fit to be tired all day. John said, what is that USA Eagle? That is the flag and the eagle picture. I think it's something to do with one of the military services, is what everybody seems to tell me. Kitty says, hey, Maria. Mike says, hi, Lotus. Grind says, I need a Chevy again. Most reliable truck you can get. Yeah, I agree. But most of the new ones, all the new ones are crap if you ask me. But I'm still going to pick my Chevy or GMC. Outdoors says, what's all gals about, boy? Yeah, okay. Joe says, Jane, you're right. Most of us loved Chevys. Jane says, Kitty, his name is Carlo. There is no end of his name. You can tell Carlo likes it because he corrected everybody else. Olivia says, I'm going to sneak up and steal your candy pops. You ain't got to sneak up. There's 3 or 4 buckets of it. You need some candy, you let me know. You come on. Jane says, hi, Maria. Carlos says, I'm not feeling well. Kitty had my Deeport injection yesterday. I feel like crap. Mike says, hi, Carlo. Olivia says, so sorry, Carlo. Well, yeah, we all hope you get feeling better. Jane said, Daryl, why you fit to be tied? Carlos says, hello, Mike. Kitty says, oh no, sorry, Carlo. Mike says, hi, Jordan. Carlos says, thank you, Kitty. Olivia. Maria says, yeah, I don't have college tomorrow, yet I kind of feel dizzy and going to sleep in any minute. I know the dizzy thing. You must eat a tomato. Did you eat a tomato that's going to poison you? Ethan said, if God created man in a 3D image, but we are in 2D, how can man achieve the holy 3D image in God's like while balancing a Holy Spirit? I don't know, but if he intended it that way, he'll do it. I don't understand the 3D, 2D you're talking about, but if it's meant to be, it will be. Carlos said, you pops. Jesus said, hey, Mike. Carlos said, Jordan, sup? Michaela says, I love you. All right, thank you. Maria says, I'm not going to eat any tomatoes. Thank goodness. They'll kill you, Maria. They will kill you. Peter said, hey, boss man. Hey, hello, Peter. Jesus said, hey, toys. They might not kill you, but they'll make you sick for 2 or 3 days. QB says, hello, Carlos, sorry about the injection, mate. Hope you get better. Maria said, the only thing that will kill me one day is you. No, there's not. Maria, don't you say that. I'm not going to kill anybody. I've had people say I tried to kill them, but I didn't. People lie. Mike says, Maria, stay away from the metal shed back there. Don't tell her that, Mike. She'll swear up and down that old bread box back there's got dead people in it. I'll have to go show her what's in the damn box. Carlos says, thanks, KLB. Reaper said, meow. You make it home, Reaper. Joe Bird said, hey, Reaper. KLB says, always, mate. Maria says, what do you mean? Who you talking about, me or Mike? And see, Reaper said, yeah, and I don't have my Chevy. Luke said, he's getting along so well. Maria said, explain yourself, both of you. Well, he said, you talking about me killing you, he said, stay away from the shed, the metal shed out back. I said, don't tell you that I do have an old bread box that like used to be on the back of a truck back there, and if you see that, you'll want to see what's in the middle, inside of it. You'll swear up and down this is dead people in there. Stay with it, Maria. Pay attention. Pay attention. Oh, I'm sorry. You said you was dizzy. I understand. Carlos says, darn it, I got to go poop again. Oh, I know that. Charles says, howdy. Charles, Reaper wants his Chevy back. Keel B says, are you gawking they little princess? Mike said, the building has a padlock and a chain on it. You'll go in, but you won't come out. Maria says, said, I'm feeling sleepy. You're getting sleepy. Boy, if I had a watch. Libby said, no. Reaper said, yeah. What the hell are you, Charles? He said, riding in high cotton in your Chevy. Mike says, hello, Charles. 25 thumbs up. All right. Thank y'all. That's awesome. Cuba says, are you lying? You know you better than not be like that. Not too like. Maria says, no need. I'm feeling dizzy without it. Yep. She eat tomatoes, everybody. That's what happens. One little tomato make you dizzy. That or she's poking fun at me for feeling that way the last couple of days. Charles says, me and the family are in Montana. Oh, you were home, Bucky? He told you where he was going. He said you told him to have at it. You'd even pay for his fuel. Maria says, I hadn't had any tomato today. Livy says, I'm not lying. That's Pops. I don't gawk at boys. Not that I know of. I've never seen you gawk at them. Love says, you are extremely handsome. Well, thank you. Reaper said, it's all right. I have the GTO and a Ford. He can drive the GTO and push the Ford. It'll be all right. Kill B's laughing. Dixie says, bro, why you let me hit on you that is gay? I figure if you're going to do it, let you go, man. It's only gay if you do it. Let's see. Joe Bird said, GTO all the way. Let's see. Reaper says, why you got to be like that, bald man? I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to tell the truth. Maria says, are you wearing a black shirt? Nope. Well, let me rephrase that. I'm going to tell you it's gray because the other day I was wearing it and you said, was I wearing a gray shirt? Now I tell you I'm wearing a gray shirt and you're asking me, is it black? See, Kitty said, be right back. Dixie, we know where you're, where you stand at if you know what all this stands for. Because G2O stands for gas, tires, and oil. Kitty said, be right back. Let's see, Reaper's laughing. QB says, I like Audi and Lambo and Ferrari. Maria says, yeah, sorry, but it shows like black. Yeah, I know. Just like yellow and green. I got it. I understand. Don't know who this is, but somebody is saying hello. Let me look. Whoop. That don't tell me much. Whoever this is saying hello back to you. I'm from China. Awesome. Penthouse says, no, I do not. But anyway, Lotus says, I'm back. Welcome, China. I can put you down and put we got a world map. And people to come in and tell us where they're from. I write it down. We put a pin in there for you. Let's see, I'm back. Said Lotus. Mike said, Joe Bird, I just checked out your channel and subbed to you. Livy said, ha ha, ho ho, my Subaru will be faster than any of your Ferrari looks at cars. Why are you from? Where are you from? United States, Denton, North Carolina. Lotus says, hello, Kitty. Maria says, no. It's not like yellow and green. This shirt is definitely green. 2006 says, you look like a 2010 Chevy. Nope. Joe Bird says, thank you. Lotus said, what's up, Mike? Have all the digits today? Maria said, China is big. Yes. If they'll tell me where in China, if it's on there, I'll try to find it. But anyway, Lotus says, hello, Maria. Lever says, hey, QB, what's the retail on those of those Ferraris? Yosef said, yo, your Pakistan viewer, Drake's here. I have me life-changing exam in 4 hours. Good luck to you, buddy. Good luck to you. Lotus says, Olivia, sup? Maria said, hi, Lotus. Olivia's laughing. Jane said, hi, Yosef. Reaper says, I like the older cars. I'm surprised I found my 69 Pontiac GTO Judge. Chip says, hi, I'm new here. Welcome. I'm glad you stopped in. Hit that like button for me. Subscribe if you don't mind. Hang around. We have some good times here. Jane says, what is your exam, Joseph? Lever says, hey, join me. I'm building Corvette 80 for liking Ferraris. Bullying, sorry. Jane said, welcome, Chip. Chip says, I am new. Mike says, Lotus, I do have digits today, but I'm down to tailgate. Lotus says, watch out, you might get a cease and Dennis. Gilby says, question mark. Port says, how French are you? Your French accent is so thick. I guess I'm a thick French accent then, I reckon. Lotus says, what up, Reaper? Meow. Yosef said, Jane, all them happened good. One left. Jane said, Reaper, did you make it home? Reaper, you just realized I'm here, Lotus. Yosef said, okay, I'm focused up. Okay, all right. Lotus says, tailgate party, what? Mike said, hi, Chip. Poopy says, Morgan Rogan. Chip sent 100 for 2 jewels. Thank you, Chip. Jane says, great, Yosef. Kill B says, Lotus, what is she financing, mate? I'm confused. Lotus, a movie. John Deere said, how's it going, Randy? Where's your son? He didn't come in today. They've had some running around, so he's at his place or where he's staying. Lotus says, a great movie. Nora says, what do you do, bro? My mom's going to whoop at me soon. What do I do? Well, quit getting in trouble. Chips sent party hat for 20 joules. Thank you. Jane said, hi, Jacob. John Deere says, how's it going, Jane? What's up, everyone? Joe Bird sent 100 for 2 joules. Awesome. Lotus says, no, I just came back, repair your when I left. Levy said, yeah, a movie, and why would I get... Demon says, are you a former service member? I am not. That picture was here when we bought the building. Mike says, my helper forgot to put the tailgate up, and I jackknifed the trailer loading the vehicle. I forgot I don't have a helper. Uh-oh. That's not good. Carlos says, what's up, Lotus? Jane says, hi, Demon. Nora says, what do I do, bro? My mom's going to whoop me soon. Take it. You did the crime, pay the fine. Bend over and take it. And if you really want to do it good after she hits you the first time, just look at her and say, I didn't even feel that. Is that all you got? Carlos says, I'm back, y'all. Chip sent party hat for 20 joules. Thank you. Those are Ferrari favorite thing to do is send cease and desist. Gil B says, figures not one to watch movies, really. Lotus said, what's up, Carlo? Outdoors said, you seem like you wrestle kids. No. Lotus says, take it like a man. Nora, that's right. Mike says, Carlo, did everything come out all right? Asking for Beth. Jane says, outdoors, move on. Lever says, they can kiss when I roll by them with my window down and my finger up. Maria said, 30 likes. Yeah, that's awesome. Chip said, happy soon Thanksgiving. Yes, right back at you. I appreciate it. Happy Thanksgiving to you too. Jane says, oh, Lotus, Nora is a female name. Nora. Let's see. Well, I probably called it a he too. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I'm just in a hurry and I don't know why. Kill B says, what has you so riled up today, Princess? Lotus said, ouch. Drone, does it still shut? He said, Uncle, built like an egg. I know, right? Jane says, Liv, you giving them your special finger? Sorry. Brandon says, no, I'd win. Matthew said, hello, Matthew. Mike said, yes, it still shuts, but I don't think it's flexible. Jane said, hi, Matthew. Matthew said, hi, Jane. Chip sent 100 for 2 joules. Awesome. Olivia said, damn straight, the finger, and I don't know why, but I'm high on energy today. Chip said, send 100 for 2 joules. 2 more, thank you. Carlos said, yes, again and again, and time at Mike. Lotus says, Dale can fix it. He can fix any tailgate. Olivia said, I feel a lot better. Me too, Olivia, me too. Chip sent 100 for 2 more joules. QB says, well, that's good. David said, say no to Sorrel law. Chip said, huh? Boston said, do you smoke like fags? No. Chip said, have a good day. You too. Maria says, you mean... Yeah, I know I won't say it right, but I've heard it, but I know what y'all were talking about. But anyway, Jazzy said, sent happy poop for 10 joules. Lotus says, how are the spicy Doritos coming, Olivia? Let's see. Olivia said, hey, Lotus, kind of wishing you had a bigger turbo now. Ha 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 ha. Let's see. Kipton says, bro, gay, you gay, bro? Okay. Kitty said, Lord. Maria says, you don't look like 100% bald. Really? Let's see. Lotus says, my turbo works fine. Lotus says, there. Sounded. Travis Jones. Let's see. Maria says, no, not really. Boston says, Denver's got an American flag and an eagle. KOB says, I'm generally confused now. I'm generally confused now. Why was I targeted and now? Hey, it don't matter. Just go with it. Kitty, can you call me Carl? John Doe's sending all kinds of jewels. Thank you. Beth says, ice cream time. Boy, I wish I had some. I'm out. Chip said, I have to go. Have a good one, Chip. Thank you. Kitty said, sure, Carl. John Doe, thank you for all the jewels. Matthew says, I won't be able to race the rest of the season, rest of the dang season. Denver sent a thumbs up for 10 jewels. Thank you. Jane says, take care, Chip. Olivia says, your mom. Ha ha ha. Spirit says, how are you? I'm doing fine. Hope you are. Carlos says, thank you, Kitty. And Maria said, no, it's so cold for ice cream. Never too cold for ice cream. Matter of fact, when it snows, we like to take snow and make snow cream with it. That's real good. KOB says, kind of missed the energy, actually. Kitty said, hey, Lotus. Matthew says, don't bring my mama into this, Olivia. Oh, boy. That got exciting. Lotus says, hello, Kitty. 1550 said, what happened if America isn't made great again? We'll keep going. We'll keep trying, man. That's what's good about it. We keep trying. Maria says, I'm still sick. I'm sorry, Maria. I figured you saying you're dizzy. You are. I was just picking around with you. Gizzard said, hello, everyone. Hope you're having a great day. I am, and hope you are. Let's see. Riz says, can you give me advice? I'm 22 years old. I can tell you to make yourself happy. Don't worry about what everybody else says or does. Worry about you and what you can control. Don't worry about crap you can't control. Make yourself happy. Olivia says, you can do what I do. I doubt if you got the energy. I tell you all about it. Lotus said, what's up, Grizz? Beth said, that's what they make blankets for, Maria, cover up and eat ice cream. That's right. Eat ice cream and it'll make you feel better. Eat tomatoes and you get sick. I can just tell you, eat ice cream, you'll feel better. James and Maria, what's the temperature there? Going to be 0 Celsius for the high on Tuesday. Lotus said, America is always great, even we aren't. Maria says, when are you going to be sick so I can blame your eating habits? Well, I just got sick. I was dizzy because I ate a damn tomato. You can blame it on my eating habits. Olivia says, oh yeah, keep on rolling, baby. Kitty said, what up, Lotus? Jane said, Grizzly. Jane says, hi, what? Wyatt Smith says, you remind me of my cousin Earl. Must be a good cousin. Matthew said, Riz, good advice, never get into demo derby. Hey, Matthew's getting it, everybody. Riz said, it's still hot here, not that cold. They said, Matthew, I'll bring everybody, mom, into it. You need a whooping anyways. Lotus said, hey, the sky. Lotus said, no, flipping it on her. Kitty said, hello, Lotus. Chip said, my mom told me I could stay. Awesome. Tell your mama, thank you. Maria says, you eat Tiny Tomato. And Tiny Tomato about made me sick. Made me dizzy. Got me sick. Stupid thing. Carla said Lotus was putting a box tune on the OS 12 CVR powered Vroom R. Got it running good. Then it ran out of gas. Engine sped up a little, meaning that I'm still on the rich side, right? QB says it's getting cold, getting quite cold here in the UK. Matthew said, Olivia, I do not, my mom is not even around anymore, so you can get my dad into this. Maria said, tomatoes can't hurt anyone, buddy. Lotus said, nope, when they run out of gas, they lean out and rev up. That's how you know when you're running out. When that thing starts getting higher on idle, you know you're running out of gas. Lotus said, keep on rolling, rolling, rolling. Ha ha, keep on rolling, rolling. Maria says, hey, don't ignore me. I didn't ignore you. I read your comment. You said tomatoes can't hurt anyone. And I shook my head, yes, they can. They can kill you. Jane said, is Maria here? Yeah. Matthew says, nope, I'm definitely going back to crashing. Chip says, my dog died just say a few weeks ago. That's bad. I hate that, Chip. Liv said, I'm having trouble and I'll bring her back from the dead. Oh, Lord. Maria says, I'm here. Yes, Jane, Maria's not feeling good. She's still sick, but I think she's making fun of me of being dizzy. Kitty said, yeah, she's here. Jane says, oh, I'm sorry, Chip. Mine did too. It hurts. Chip said, Kitty. They said, Matthew, sounds like you're rolling already. 34 thumbs up. That's awesome, people. Thank y'all. Matthew says, nope. Still got the bent pins, or did they change them over to straight ones? Red says, I'm hungry. I haven't had dinner today. Yep. Better get you something to eat. Ice cream help you feel better. Lotus said, I think Pop's got some funky gummies. That's what made him sick. That damn tomato, Lotus, I'm telling you. Let's see. I always thought if the engine speeds up, it was running out of gas. You're still on the rich side, according to the Ron Parrish tuning Bible. Kyle says, RoboCop, when he took his mask off looking as, okay. Kitty says, Lowell, Jane. Matthew says they haven't fixed them yet. They are going to do that next week. Maria said, shut up. I told you before, there's no way I'm eating ice cream until summer. Well, feel bad until summer then. Don't want to listen, hard-headed youngins. Matthew said, 3 surgeries later, I will still race. Lotus says, think about it, lean is not enough fuel to make it your high idle. Daryl says, I'm going to post tonight premiere until tomorrow. I'm going to postpone tonight's premiere until tomorrow, not feeling the best and tired. Well, Daryl, I hope you get to feeling better. Lotus said, what happened when you run out of gas? Maria said, ice cream is great. Makes a person feel good. Yes, I agree, Maria. Ice cream is great. Lotus says, not enough fuel. I like ice cream. Oh, and I like that last clip that you put up. I thought that was cool. Maria says, I like ice cream a lot. And Chip says, I like ice cream too. Maria says, I don't like it and I don't want it. Let's see, Maria, tell us a story. I don't have one off the top of my head. Chip says, I'll be back in 5 minutes. Okay, the timer has started at 7:01. Just turned 7:02. We'll see you at 7:07. Lotus said, that also doesn't tell you anything about your tune. Maria says, I don't want to go to sleep. Lotus said, ask Hybrid. Carlos says, I don't know, Lotus. I guess I just got to go by smoke and sound when I tune as I usually do. Lotus said, hi, Bird. Matthew said, I can tell you a great story, Maria. Well, there was one time I was racing. I crashed. I went to the hospital. I stayed in the hospital for a very long time. I got out, crashed again. Repeated that 12 more times. Maria says, you lived for 56 years. You have lots of stories. I do have a lot of stories. I just can't think of one right off the top of my head to tell. And you know me, I'm trying to read these comments. It's kind of hard for me to tell a story. I can tell you a story about a man named Jed. Jesus said, how's your ear? Well, Maria said, think. Like I said, I never had an ear rape. That's what is kind of weird. I don't know if it was water behind my ear or ear infection. I don't know. I'm hoping that when I lay down and go to bed tonight, that it doesn't happen tonight. But all day till about 2 o'clock, if I turned just right, I got dizzy. I mean, it was pretty bad. It wasn't as bad as the first night that it happened, but it was pretty bad. But I'm feeling fine right this minute. Let's see. Matthew says, no, it's better than that. Amber says, Minecraft. Lotus, Matthew has great experience for a crash test dummy job. Yes. Matthew says, hey, that's not nice. Bryant says, a lot of stories I forgot. I regret not having any diaries. So much crap about my life I've forgotten. Well, that was the original reason I wanted to start this channel, was I wanted to tell the stories that's happened, because I've got so many stories. But we've got to going into the cars and stuff like that, and I haven't told a story in a long time on here. Lotus said, sorry. Matthew said, you're okay. Jordan says, P, what's up, Canada Outdoor? Let's see, who is that? It's decent. Sent 100 for 2 jewels, and then combined times 2, 100 for 2 jewels. Thank you. Mary says, think, Randy, use your mind. I am. I'm trying to read all these comments. I don't know what kind of story right off the top of my head. Kitty said, hey, Jacob. Maria says, for once at least. Maria, quit being so mean. Jane says, hi, Bryant. American says, hey, Kitty. Kitty says, Jacob, I'm so tired. Was busy. Jacob said, okay. Riley said, K. Riley says, did you know that if you do press in Ukraine, you could be put on a missile list by the Russians? First strike you with drones overhead, they can see what type of SD card in your phone it is American. No, I didn't know that. Let's see, Marisa, if you're not telling any stories, I'm going to fall asleep. Well, Maria, I don't know of a story right now, and I'm trying to read these comments. Jane says, hi, Riley. Riley says, hey, Jane. Hi, Jane. Oh, man, 39 thumbs up. Y'all, a couple of these newcomers hit me in. Get me over 40, please. Carlos said, Lotus, if you read the Ron Parrish Tuning Bible, it mentions it in there. He knows that. He wrote it, Carlo. I'm just playing, Lotus. Maria says, keep me awake. Stay awake. Hey, I got an idea, Maria. I'll keep you awake with this. What do you think? Jane says, really, did you live in Ukraine? Lotus says, tell a story of you got your first crash bar. Mike says, Raleigh says, nope, just know that. Jane said, Lotus said, I read the Lotus Tuning Bible. Well, there was this one time I was going to build a brush guard. And I was telling everybody what kind of brush guard I was going to build. And they decided to say it was a crash bar, that I couldn't do what I wanted to do because I said brush guard. They said crash bar. So we got into this heated discussion because he says I can't do what I want to do. I guess it's against his laws. Oh, Vic. Hello, Vic. Can't stay. Touching base. Hope you're well. Rough day. Vic, I ain't heard from you in a while. I thought you done dropped off. We understand. Been rough for all of us lately. Vic, you hear Randy on his feet? Maria said, what's the only solution? To do what you want to do. Don't listen to everybody else. Jane said, hi, Vic. Carlos said, smarty pants. Kitty says, hello, Carl. Jacob's laughing. Matthew says, I've been racing since I was 16, but started my own team in 2020. I haven't had some rough times on the track, but the one that stands out the most is when one of my friends got hit and passed. Oh, that's not good. Chip said, I'm back. Oh, you're 1 minute late. But then again, you may be okay. It may have took me that long to get to your comment as slow as I read. So, did good, Chip. Welcome back. Mike said, there was one time at band camp. Yep. Carlos said, hee, kitty. Maria said, continue the story. That was the story. We got mad at each other. We talk about it every once in a while. He pokes fun at me right now. If you ain't figured it out, he's in here right now. I never did finish it. Randy got hurt and we never got to do the brush guard, not crash bar. Lotus said, I'm not saying anything else on this topic, Randy. Chip said, I'm back. Mike said, Chip, you barely made it back in time. Jane said, Maria, things got heated. Dad threw a fit at the end of the story. We forgot about it now. Well, somebody still brings it up every once in a while. Girl said, I'll be right back. Randy left the in-laws. Jane said, welcome back, Chip. Matthew says, oh, fine, Maria. Lotus says, I don't know, Carlo. I tuned by feel. It's not always perfect, but it runs. That's the way I used to do on the old distributors. I've never been able to use a timing light. Don't understand it. Never really tried it. But I've always tuned with my ear, listening to it run. So I would like to learn the timing light, but I've never been around anybody that's done it and it showed it to me. Maria said, that's a story. See, that's the reason I wasn't going to tell one. It didn't matter what I said. It's not going to be good enough for you. Maria said, tiny story, just like a tomato. Jacob said, hit the like button, guys, please. Yeah, I got 40 of them right now. Thank y'all. Mike says, hello, Matthew. Maria said, yes, everything you do isn't, hey, believe me, y'all got to remember, I'm married. I do understand this. Nothing's ever good enough for a female. Jane said, Maria, it was a short story and short temper tantrum. The end. And they all lived happily ever after. That's right. We still pick about it every once in a while. Kitty said, hey, Matthew. Maria says, like now you're not breathing right. I'm tired. Get low. I'm tired. Mike said, hi, Kitty. Why am I breathing wrong? Kitty says, hey, Lone. Wish I could figure out how to get all these names to go back the way they're supposed to be. I have to wait till Randy's here before I start messing with any kind of, I'll be turning everybody off. Chip says, get version up, only 16. Come, guys. Let's see. Jane said, goodness, Maria, does he have a nose hair hanging out too? Don't ask. He'll be telling you. Lotus said, it could be it could be you, it could be in your stream settings. That's what I was trying to. Oh, it might be back on the, yeah. I'll have to get Randy to check it out because I don't know. I don't know how to mess with this crap, but I sure would like to get it back the way it used to be. I do not like this. They've tested enough, if you ask me. QB says, well, I have to walk around and close up completely. Have a good night, mates. Take care. All right, QB, thank you for stopping in. You be safe out there, Mall Cop. James says, take care, QB. Will says he might be a little big, but he's breathing fine for his age. Angel. That's right. QB says, cheers, Miss Jane, be safe. Chip says, you need a haircut. I do. Getting way too long. Jane says, hi, Roger, welcome in. Maria says, you're not sitting in a good way. Mike said, once you get it figured out, Randy, they'll change it again. I know, right? Gilbert said, did you call me Mall Cop? Shh. I wanted to see if you were paying attention. Jane said, do a backflip. Release. You know the drill. Will said, Jane. Jacob's got pink poop. Sal says, hey, Brad. Chip's got the pictures up there. Cool. Kilby says, that's the first. Lotus said, release the crack. Kilby says, cheers, mate. That made my night. Cool. Riz said, I said, you're not setting good, not make you that face. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Matthew said, after that happened to my friend, I said racing for a year. I returned, but when I did, it was more dangerous, so I raced in her memory. That was why my team color is pink. That's always why I love racing. I hate that, but I mean, it's cool that you, carry your colors and stuff, but I hate that. And Jacob's got some blown up volcanoes or something. Will says, this guy always great. Thank you. Rita said, men have to complain about everything. Shit, you're the one complaining? I'm just sitting here reading everybody's comment. I'm not complaining about anything. Lotus says, I did not say crack. What did you say then? It says release the crack, C-R-A-C-K. That's what it says. Chip said, you're the best. Lotus said, don't smoke, it's bad for you. Don't smoke crack, it's bad for you. Let's see, Carlos says, I'm back, y'all. Jay says, he is, Roger. We look forward to Pops every night at 6. Carlos says, boy, I'm exhausted. Me too, because I can't do nothing right. Good law. Sack says, are you married? Yes. Jacobs, what is that? I have no idea what that is. Thought it was a snail, but I don't believe it's a snail. Lotus said, oh, that's your translate. Oh, okay. Maria says, never mind. What mind? You're dizzy. Lotus said, CR. Oh, crap. Chip says, I am in 4th grade. I thought you were kind of young, but hey, welcome. Maria said, do something interesting or I'll fall asleep. I'm trying. Olivia says, bye, QB. Do you want me to click on this pen to keep you awake? Jane might not like it. Olivia might not like it. Olivia says, bye, QB. Jacob waving. Kitty says, welcome back, Carlo. Now she's going to leave the O off. Welcome back, Carl. Maria, try more. Maria said, yes. I'm not clicking that pen. I make everybody else mad. Sack says, he kind of cute and laid back. Let's see, Olivia's crying. I thought for sure you'd tell me no, Olivia. Do not pick the pen up. Will says, I know y'all cook. How do you do your turkey? I picked up my turkey today from work. We're going to get a turkey fryer. I'm going to try it. We've always put it in the oven. I don't eat turkey, but we are going to try to get a turkey fryer. Well, I think we're going to fry it up, do the turkey fryer. What do you call it? I've never done it, so I'm going to try it. Jay said, welcome back, Carlo. Oh, never mind. Justin sent a happy hat for 20 joules. Thank you, Jetty. Carl said, thank you, Kitty. Jacob's got a squid dancing. Maria says, if you don't mind, then I'm mad. If you didn't, then I'm mad. Hell, you stay mad, Maria. Mike says, no, not the pen, see? Carlo said, Lowell Jane. Lotus says, oven turkey this year. Sack says, where's the other guy? He didn't come in today. He's at where he's staying right now. He's an hour away. So he didn't come in today. Jane said, Carlo has given Kitty permission to call him Carl. Olivia says, you touch that pen again and I'll have a little Randy light your hide up, old man. See? See? Lotus her fried one last year was delicious. Wilco said, very cool. Evo said hello. I see why you got deleted now, dummy. Hello, says Jesus loves you. Chip says, I have to go for good this time. All right, Chip, you be good, buddy. Thank you for stopping in. Kitty said, Jane. Lotus says, now hold on. Do you have a 2JZ Evo? Let's see. The Why How Win. The Why How Win says, hey, dude, no way. I knew you from high school. Your nickname back then was the Cowgirl. Amazing seeing you again. I thought the last time I seen you, you swore up down you'd never tell anybody about that. See, you're no good. Your word is no good. Matthew says, I don't race for her anymore, but my team colors is still pink. For her, my actual racing is cause it keeps me happy and I don't care how much I get hurt. I now race for mental awareness, health awareness. Okay, that's cool. Be happy, that's for sure. Lotus said, sad, good name, bad person. I know, right? Kitty said, Lowell. James said, take care, Chip. Levy said, to Jay-Z Evo, question mark. John Deere got pink poop. Lotus said, what's the guy's name? What guy? Hello, Jesus loves us so much he suffered knowing that not a lot will accept us. Johnny said, my lower unit is rusted. Hello, said him. Let's see, Carlos says, Carl's got the Ritz. Maria says, good night, everyone. Good night, Maria. I hope you sleep better and hope you sleep well and hope you feel better. Three Wheeler says, hey, hey. John Deere says, like and subscribe, please. Yes, please. We're all the way up to 45. That is awesome, people. Thank y'all. Kitty said, hey, Carlo. His nickname is Carl is better. Lotus says, I think you meant Ritz, Carlo. Maria said, there's no use of you. What? How mean. I tell you what, Maria, I hope you have dreams tonight, and I hope I'm knocking on your door. I hope every time you wake up, I'm looking at you. Hello, Maria. Jane says, take care, Maria. Good night. Jane says, hey, Max. Mike said, hey, Three Wheeler and John Deere. Sax says, I like the way you speak like country boy. Thank you. John Deere says, hi. Carlos says, okay. Lotus says, I know that. Lo, I meant what I said. Kitty said, Jacob, hi, low. Kitty said, hey. You about got me, Olivia. Mike says, good night, Maria. Olivia says, hee. Hello, says, good night, /day. Remember, Jesus loves you so much, wanting us to come to him. Three Wheeler says, hi, Lon, hi, Jane, hi, Pops. How are you? How was your Monday? I feel a lot better than I did when I started, so my Monday's good. And I'm telling you, this has been a good live here today. I'm showing 46 thumbs up, so thank all of y'all for coming in here, helping me out, and making me feel better. John Deere, I don't know what that is, but it's smiling. Carlos says, okay, Lotus. Dennis, good evening, everyone. Hello, Dennis. Rita said, stop saying that now. I'm scared of sleeping. I'll see you in a little bit. Go ahead and count a couple sheep. Every third sheep is going to be my head on a sheep's body saying, bah. John Deere said, hi. Jane said, hi, Dennis. Three Wheeler said, Dennis. Dennis said, Jane, how are you? Olivia said, damn it. Mike said, hi, Dennis. Kitty says, hey, Dennis. Olivia said, Dennis said, Three Wheeler. Matthew says, yes, all my vehicles are sponsored by 988 CMH and most of the therapy places in the area. I even have a school that sponsors me because their school is for kids that can't be normal schools due to ADHD. That's awesome, Matthew. Glad you're doing good with it. Dennis said, Mike. John Deere says, hi. Jane said, good night, Maria. Dennis says, Olivia. John Deere's laughing. Maria said, shut up. I don't want to think about it. Dennis said, hello, Maria. Maria says, that's scary. Lou said, Dennis, how are you? Kitty's laughing. David said, say no to Strayer Law, whatever that is. Dennis said, good night, Maria. Sleep well. Mike said, damn it, Randy, now I'm going to have nightmares. You're not the only one, Mike. Jane said, good night, Maria. Sleep well. Dennis said, Kitty. Maria said, I still didn't forget the chicken dream you've been in. John Deere is laughing. Dennis said, what's the temperature on Mars right now? All right, we'll play that game. Okay, Google, what's the temperature on Mars right now?
The temperature on Mars varies significantly At Gale Crater, where the Curiosity rover is located, recent daily highs have been around 27 to the power of Circ F, minus 3 to the power of Circ C, and lows around minus 99 to the power of Circ F, minus 73 to the power of Circ C. The overall temperature range on Mars can be extreme. The average temperature is about minus 80 to the power of Circ F, minus 62.
All right, that's enough of that crap. Let's see. John Deere laughing. Dennis says, Mike, how are you doing? Sack says, I love the way you talk. Country boy, love it. Well, thank you. Dennis said, John Deere waving. Mike said, good. Took it easy today. John Deere says, hi. Wilco said, negative 73. Lotus said, did Maria just say she dreams of Randy? She said she came in a couple lives as well, been about a month ago now, I guess, and said she had a dream something about her chickens, her daddy's chickens or something. I don't remember what it was, but she didn't like it. She said I was there. Dennis says, I didn't have time to take it easy today. Kitty said, Lord, John Deere's cold. Yes. Dennis said, hey, Mike, they're calling for 4 to 8 inches of snow here this weekend. Keep it, please. Matthew says, I'll be back in 2 minutes. Okay, 7:27, so you'll be back before 7:30. Wilco says, I was close. Yep. Mike said, please keep it where you're at, Dennis. I'll pass it on. I'll pass on it. There we go. Blah. Wilco says, where are you at, Dennis? Maria said, yes, that was a month ago. I dreamed about him with the chickens. Woo-hoo. Let's see. John Deere's freezing again. Aladdin says, Hillary 2028 because she was right about everything. If there is a doctor in the house, Aladdin needs it. They have hit their head. Libby said, yay, yay, yay. Maria said, the most 2 things I hate. Now, that hate word's very, very offensive. You should not hate things. John Deere said, hi. Hello, John Deere. $47. Y'all believe that? If I get a couple more, man, I got about 32 minutes. I might just can click off 50 on this live. That'd be awesome. Maria says, okay, dislike. I think you secretly like the chickens. You just don't want to admit it. Liv says, Lotus, it's negative 75 to the power of F. Dom said, hi. Hello, Dom. Jason Maria, you shouldn't be hating on things. That's right. Maria said, what are you doing with the chickens? Making chicken nuggets. Lotus said, okay. Mike says, Maria just got you. Maria says, no, I really love the chickens. They are my dad's favorite, and I really like to help my dad out with the chickens. Lotus says, turn the heat up. Yes. Pluck those feathers. Ryan's okay, Ryan? Matthew says, I'm back. Hey, you made it. It's 7:30. That's good. Brent says, I don't help him with them. My siblings does, but I don't. No wonder you got your butt beat so much growing up. Maria says, it's ridiculous that I don't help my dad. My dad really likes the chickens, and I'm so hard-headed I won't help him. Jane said, Ryan, move on with that stupid mess. But before you leave, hit the like button. Maria says, don't mention that. I'm so hard-headed. Liv says, you not my mom, Lotus. I like it. Negative 75 to the power of F. And you. Lotus says, I'm glad I'm not. John Deere's got chicken and chicken eggs and a bitty. Jane said, what the hell is negative 75 to the power of F? I don't know, but it's the temperature on Mars. Matthew said, yeah, I know time they said 10 minutes race. Okay, I will leave right at the end, red flag. Cucumber says, hi, everyone. Hello, Cucumber. You just come in, hit that like button. Show me right, that way to get me 50, please. Jesus says, I'm going to head off. Take care. You all. Love you guys. Thank you, Jesus, for stopping in. I do appreciate it. Jane says, hey, kerosene. Jesus said, floating heart for 10 joules. Jane says, take care, Jordan. Kitty said, good night, Jesus. Olivia says, ha to the power of F-U, Lotus. Ha ha. Sig 4457 said, Canada, check it in. Hello. Thank you, Canada. Appreciate it. Whoever just hit the thumbs up and made it to 50, I do appreciate it. I do like that's awesome. 50 thumbs up. I do appreciate it. Jesus says, good night, Jane and Kitty. Jane says, oh, Lord, I get it, Liv. John Deere says, roosters and chickens. Liv says, hello, Canada. Welcome to American land. Jane says, welcome, Canada. We got Carlos. Hi, sir. Can you please say 6'7"? Also, what's your favorite person in the Bible besides Jesus? I can't say 6'7". For some reason, it just won't come out my mouth right. 6'7" just doesn't work right for me. I can't say 6'7", but probably Moses. Maria says, don't say 6'7". I didn't say 6'7". I don't know nothing about 6'7". I can't say 6'7". Matthew said, no, 6'7". We can't say 6'7". Mike says, hi, Carlo, number 2. John Deere said, no. Carlos says, I understand. Carlos says, love it. Lotus says, wife says, hi. Hello, Lotus's wife. OG says, is my favorite in the Bible. Cool. Empathy says, baby boy. Hey, y'all hit the like button for me, please. Hit that thumbs up for me. Matthew says, I have a better number than 6'7". Who knows it? I bet I do. Maria said, Lotus is married? Question mark. Yep. I thought we just had this conversation. Well, you might not have been in here, Maria. Lotus says, I am. Saint says, I went to my dad's garage because my dad just passed away and found an Audi S1 Sport on the who's racing in the Group B. I don't know. Hit that like button for me. We'll try to figure it out for you. Matthew said, what is it, Randy? Probably about to add 2 more numbers to it. Maria said, it's a surprise that there's a woman chosen life with him after all her mind. Woman that chooses to live with him with all her mind. There's nothing wrong with Lotus. You shouldn't be so mean, Maria. Long said, Lotus, she sounds, whoop. John Deere's got a firecracker. Made Shalom is better than 6'7". Thank God I can't say 6'7". I don't like that number. Mary says, happy Thanksgiving from Hot Springs, Arkansas. Awesome. Thank you. Then says, happy Monday, everyone. Or hello, guys. Y'all hit that like button for me, please. Then show me how many we can get here in the next 25 minutes. Well, we ain't got to get off. Daryl don't have I do got a video to make, but Jane says, Mary. Kara says, can you say Eli? Can you say hi, Eli? Mike says, it is a It is +2, Matt. Jay says, hi, Daniel. Maria says, I'm not mean, I'm Maria. You're mean, Maria. We call you Eminem. Mean Maria. Saint says, let the Audi I found a super expensive, I didn't sell. Went to the garage and found a super rare car. What are you going to do? I'm going to get it out and get it going. Matthew said, 69, no. Let's see, wait a minute. Hold on a minute. Let me see something. 829. That'd be the better number. 829. Ultra said, hello from Greece. I haven't had that one. Let me write that down. If you didn't know, Greece, we got a world map. People come in here and let us know where they're from. We put in a pin for you. So Matthew said, that's a better number in my opinion. John Deere says, put a firecracker underneath your butt. Joking. Jane said, welcome, Greece. Ultra's smiling. Maria says, no, call me Mad Dr. Maria. Hey, I like that. That's even better. MDM, Mad Dr. Maria. Burger says, Jesus is the truth. Hell is real. We all sin. He died on the cross to pay our sins. Was buried and rose again the third day. Put your faith in him alone to save you. Trust in what he did for you. Thank you. I read it. I appreciate it. But we don't talk religion on here. We're all over the world. We don't, not that I'm trying to deny the name or nothing like that, but we don't do religion on here. Thank you, though. Kitty says, Mad Dr. Maria. Let's see, Dax says, hi. Matthew says, hey, Randy, knows it. How did you figure that out? I don't know. If it wasn't what I originally thought, I got thinking about it was the number of your car. Jane said, Maria, it's about 10 more years of schooling. I'll call you Mad Dr. Maria. Let's see. Dax says, welcome from Washington. I haven't heard that either. Let's put it in. Let's write it down. Randy will be busy when he gets here putting all these pins in. But I will put a pin in for you, Dax. Thank you for coming in. We're showing 53 thumbs up. Thank y'all. Jane says, welcome, Washington. Maria says, a real doctor studies 14 years. I study only 4. That's why we call her Mad Dr. Maria. Aaron said, street outlaws tonight. Mike said, that's Washington State or D.C.? Kitty says, Olivia. Maria says, okay, mad, bald, simple creature. Hey, sounds good to me. I like it. Matthew says, there's three car in that picture. How the hell did you know the 829 was mine? We've talked about it before. I remember. I got a fish brain, but I do remember things. And besides that, if you'll look at that picture, the picture only shows one car with it showing the number. Kitty said, Olivia, oh, I read that. Matthew, let's see, Maria says, no, you don't. Yes, I do. I like it. Mad, bald, simple creature. I like it. I think it's cool. House of the White Dog said, can you read us Proverbs 23:19? No, I cannot. Maria said, that's why we call you fish brain. Huh? What we talking about, Maria? Mad Maria. Graf says 3:16. I don't even have a Bible here. Mick said, what's up, peckerheads? How you doing, Mix? Carlos said, finally got my look-throughs and Zoloft into me. I had to wait until 8:30 for my papa to get it from the drugstore. Mick says, lol. Kitty said, Maria, I call him full hat. He's chef man. I got it right here. I'm waiting on them to come back and ask me where the full is. I got it. Woohoo! Lord says, may Allah bless you. I don't know who that is, but okay. Mike says, hi, I mixed the tricks. Maria says, put your hat on. I did, Maria. I did. You got to watch. Who says, hello, was a Philippine pedophile. Sorry. Okay. Well, why are we talking about it? People and their stupid sayings. Let's see. Lord says, are you talking? No. United States. America land. Meg said, what's everyone up to this evening? Oh, we're just in there having a good time. Everybody's going down there hitting that thumbs up. We're trying to see how many we can get. Can you help me out a little bit? Let's see. Merchant says, hell Satan. Okay, whatever. Let's see what we're looking at here. Looks like somebody drew a frog. Ooh, allergic to the BS. Let's see. Let's see. Graf said USA, baby. USA, baby. Drake says, I gave you thumbs up, my guy. Thank you very much. Yeah, showing 56. Awesome. Thank you. Jay said, hit the like button if you're going to troll. Malva says, blubber from, whoa. I'm going to write it down, but I do not know what that is. I'll be honest with you. That is, let's see. Maria says, okay, bye. Have a great time, Randy and everyone. All right, Maria, sleep well. I'll see you in your dreams. Hope you get feeling better. Nettie says, good afternoon. How's your day today and tonight? It is awesome. It started off pretty rough, but it ends up pretty good tonight. And the live's doing real good. I'm showing 56 thumbs up with 21 people still watching. So if y'all don't mind, hit that thumbs up for me. Thank you. Jane said, bless you. Thank you, Jane. Natalie says, bless you. Thank you. I hope I said that right, Natalie. Meg says, don't bless him. You'll burn hole in his skin. Why is that? Mike said, night, Maria. I'll see you in a little bit about the time you doze off. Lotus said, good night, Maria. Kitty said, night, Maria. Jane says, I'm tired of saying good night, Maria. She's going to leave 15 minutes ago. Livy said, I wonder if those trolls suffer from what the Hitler suffered from. I don't know. You never know. Kitty said, Olivia. They don't bother me. I think some of them was kind of funny. Lotus said, meth addiction, maybe Olivia. Carlos says, Pops. Kruger Nightmare on NDP Street. That's right. I'm going to scratch my fingers down the chalkboard. See her here in the middle of the night. Mike said, what is that, Olivia? Olivia says, I replied, it's sending RN. Okay. John Deere laughing. Matthew said, I worked all week to fix my car just to smash yours. I know, right? Lever said, Hitler suffered from tiny PP disease. Oh, Lord. Whew. Retry said, Shaggy, when did you turn bald? When I never turned bald. I started shaving my head in, when was it? 2003, I believe. I shave every single morning, Retry. Matthew said, Demo Derby where cars go to die. Jane said, every morning he turns bald. That's right. Let's see. RB said, no offense, you seem kind of MAGA. No offense taken. Retry said, okay. Olivia says, I can't breathe. And actually, it's called micro PP. Ha ha. Jay said, Bob's Make America Great, one YouTuber channel at a time. That's right. That's what I'm trying to say. We're all in here together. I mean, people come in here have a good time. There's no telling what we talk about. I'm just writing this one picture. Look how many laughing faces in it. Let's see. Salvador says, good morning, good morning. Matthew said, no offense, you be rude to him, I will delete you off the face of the earth. Aw, man, they ain't rude to me. They're fine. They're not hurting my feelings. Retry says, yeah, poo. They don't bother me. Like I said, if it gets bad, I will delete them, but if they don't, we'll let it go. Olivia says, I still can't breathe. I can't breathe. Tax says, do your best Pee Wee Herman impression. I don't know how to do impressions, but I like riding my bicycle. Retry said, yeah, Pops is making America great again. I'm trying. Tax says, haha, pretty good. 57, man, 3 more, I'll hit 60. Man, y'all doing good tonight, thank you. Matthew said, and that's funny because I can't delete anyone. Carlos says, okay, y'all got to go. Have a visitor coming soon. Have a great night. Take care. See you, Carlo. Appreciate you coming in. Riverfront Base says, laughing with thumbs up. Yes, hit that like button. Ooh, 59. One more and I'll trip the 60 mark. Man, y'all are so generous tonight. Kitty said, take care, Carl. Good night. James said, take care, Carl. Carlo tells Safa I said hi. Mike said, is it Sneaky Pete Carlo? Dum 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 ding da dum dum. Let's see. James said, good job, Pops. Carlos said, will do, Jane. Let's see. Kitty said, Ghostly, you here? Jane says, now let's work on. I don't know why that right there is giving me a fit. That is A and Rye A. But for whatever reason, I cannot put it together. Is it A or A? I don't know why that's giving me a fit, Jane. Carlos said, no, Mike, it's my support coordinator, Jessica, visiting to see Safa tomorrow. So, see, now I'm going to mess up. Araya. Is that right? Araya? Araya. Okay. Kitty said, yay, Chef Man. Justin said, what's up? Oh, hello, Justin. Jane said, good. Let me write that down. I gotta keep it right here, so I got it. Let's see. Mike says, okay, I was just checking Carlo. Kitty said, hey, Justin. Jane said, hey, Justin. Justin said there's a video, a show coming on. He's going to start coming to the shop and watching. Mike said, hi, Justin. Boggy says, hey, where you being on toast, eating boyfriend to go, Olivia? What? Jane said, I can't remember how she spelled it now. Shaw says, hello. Sean said, hello. Hello, Sean. I cannot believe I've got over 61 thumbs up on this. This is awesome. Jenny says, hello. Hello, Jenny. Jane said, hi, Sean. Matthew says, damn it, I am in trouble now. I'm in trouble, don't you see? Let's see. Jenny says, can I tell you something? You can if it is appropriate. Mike says, hi, Jenny. Hello, Jenny. Jane said, Pops, they might have pushed your live tonight. Evidently they did. It's doing pretty good. I think, Matthew said Sean is my best brother ever. Well, welcome, Sean. Livy said, he is not my boyfriend. Also, Mini Crash. Jenny said, Jesus loves you. Jesus loves you too. Thank you very much. Jane says, hi, dumbass Matthew, brother. Jane said, oh, wait. Kitty said, Olivia. Jane said, did I say that wrong, Lord? I don't think so. That's what he said. That's what he said. Yes, everybody like, subscribe, thumbs up, hit the bell for notification. Everybody come in here every day at 6. Let's see. Sean says, oh, come on. We all see who's in my profile pic. Let's see. Yeah, I know. Whoop, let's see. Look at there. What a brother. What a supportive brother. Isn't that just awesome? James says, Sean, you're a dumbass brother? Question mark. Lol. Sean said, my dumbass brother. And it went quiet. Ooh, I gotta write that check too. Mike said, brotherly love. Yep. James said, Sean, have you broken anything recently? He said, no, I'm not the dumbass that gets out there and races. I just support my brother. He probably races. I have no idea. Boggy says, I call the biggest bullshit because you have a picture of him without a shirt. Lotus says, Beans on Toast left a while ago. Lotus said, what up, Boggy? Sean says, it's my truck, but in the back is Matthew's car. Oh, Jane said, do you need to know how to spell my last name when you write the check, Pops? What check am I writing, Jane? Mike said, Lotus, I'm lost. Who is Beans and Toast? Sean said, I do race. Oh, Sean says, 1031. Okay, then I guess that's what I'm saying. I didn't know. I was just playing. Oh, did I say that out loud? I didn't think y'all heard me. Yeah, I got to write a check for the tires that was just ordered. Right for, that's the reason I come in late to the live. I didn't realize. I remember saying it, but I didn't think I said it out loud. Lotus says, Kill B Mike. Let's see. Matthew says, yeah, you also see who parked right next to me in my profile picture. Mike says, okay. Sean, anything broken? Mike says, make the check out to cash. You've got my address. There you go. Matt said, probably not knowing him. Troy! Hey, Troy, how you doing? John Deere says 63 likes now. Wow, yeah, I'm showing 63. Troy just come in. He might hit one up for me there. And then Staines says he homosexual. He's going to get one before he starts the stupid stuff. Livy said he isn't my boyfriend, and Boggy, he almost never wears a shirt. Also, you wasn't supposed to see that. I didn't. Who said something about boyfriend? Well, she's on top of that. She must really like him. Jane says, hey, Troy, baby. And Lotus said, keep digging. I know, right? Let's see. Sean said, not currently. Troy says, Jane, baby. Chunk says, hello, sir. How is your day? It's doing awesome. How about yours? Sean says, I'm not the jackass that goes 55 miles per hour just cause you can like Matthew. Boggy says, ha, I see everything a bit. He's your boy toy. That's what it's, I'm sorry. Sean said, plus I race a truck, not a weak ass car. Woo, we're going to have some family fighting here in a minute. Lotus says, now Boggy, she is a grown ass woman. Garcia says, crack has no rules. Troy says, Gunsmoke is on. Lotus says, she can has boy toys as much as your bunnies. That's right, Lotus, tell him. Jay said, Troy, you do the old shows awesome. Uh-oh, we found a connection. Buggy says, make sure he uses protection when he visits. See, Garcia says, couples or flashbacks? Question mark. Troy says, all of them. John Deere says, okay, Pee Wee Herman. I like my bicycle. Buggy says, ha 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 ha. Kitty's laughing. Me, me. Well, well, well. Awful deep subject. Jane said, okay, Pops, I'm signing off. Take care. Take care, chat. See you, Jane. Thanks for staying with us. I'm fixing to call it. I still got to make a video. I'm going to flip this thing around here. I was hoping to click off 65. Well, I'm showing 64 on one and 63 on the other, so it's probably not going to make it. Troy said, take care, Jane. Mike said, night, Jane. Oh, let's see. All right, everybody. I'm going to sign off here. Y'all have a good day, good night whenever you're watching this. I do appreciate all of y'all coming in. We're showing 63 and 64 thumbs up. That's a pretty good night if you ask me. So, let's see. Olivia said, Boggy, I hate you. He is my boyfriend, but you shouldn't tell everybody. Let's see. Let's see. 2 more likes, guys. And do it. Let's see. Y'all have a good night, good day whenever you're watching this. I do appreciate it. Y'all remember, keep it silly. Thank y'all.